Because once you know your identity, like me, I'm the powerful connector. That's my 2-word moniker. I make money from that. I make a lot of money from that. I make sure everybody who I connect makes a lot of money. And it's just, I'm just known for the guy, powerful connector and problem solver. That's it.
Hey, Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. Today we are with Mr. Steven Kuhn. What's up, sir?
How you doing, brother? Good to be here. Finally, we made it.
I know, right? It's been 3 or 4 times now, and I'm glad we were on. And I was gonna I swear I'm not exaggerating. If it wasn't you, I was canceling today. We just have been running around all morning. It's been a nutty morning. But thank you for being here, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And I'm in the States too. So it's we're almost in the same time zone here, only 2 hours apart.
Oh, no, you're in Colorado. I think we're a couple hours.
Yeah. 2 hours.
But yeah, anyway, man, appreciate you being here. I know you're from Clubhouse. That's where we met. And, I always hear you up there, and you sound awesome. You got a great message. You got a really awesome book, Humble Alpha, and you're doing a lot of big things, man. So just first, thanks for doing this. I'm going to give you a quick bio.
Okay.
And then we'll get into it.
Right.
So you have Steven has been handpicked to consult with some of the most influential people in the world, rock stars, singers, actors, business leaders, and politicians to turn around their business and how to build value and loyalty to develop strategies for increasing beneficial relationships for increased revenue. Steven served in the military in the U.S. Army, from 1986 to 1993 in Germany. I was witness to the fall of the Berlin Wall. Oh, that's pretty wild, huh? And served tour in Iraq during Operation Desert Storm, for which he was awarded the Bronze Star. Thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, listen, you're an author. You've got an awesome, inspiring message. I listen to you almost every morning in the Breakfast with Champions Club. So thank you for being here.
Well, I mean, I listen to you too every morning. It's like we sort of bat it back and forth sometimes, don't we? You have an inspiring story. You have a very inspiring story. So it's always good to be in such company, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I go there because I want to learn. I want to be around people that are doing bigger things and learn from those people. So,
well, I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how do you get such a clear message, right? So how do you know what to talk about? And when we wrote the book Unleash Your Humble Alpha with my co-author Lane Balone, it wasn't something we wanted to write like, let's write a book on how to XYZ. I literally was asked questions all the time about how I did this, or I worked for Mick Jagger, Olivia Newton-John, Andrea Bocelli, the European Parliament, and I'm just an American soldier living in Europe, right? I'm like, well, how did you do all that stuff? And I was like, I just walked up to him and talked to him, and they're like, well, there's got to be a process. And I'm like, I don't think so. And so we decided, okay, let's articulate what those processes were. So it took a year to write this book, because I said, okay, when was the first time? So we have 5 core models, right? The first one is HIT, honesty, integrity, and transparency. And then we have the creating space. Then we have life enterprise, investing in relational capital, and quality of life. And when was the first time that I, created space? I have no idea. So we did that. I did research. We went and I found out I was 16 years old. My first girlfriend on the front seat of my 1968 Chevy Chevelle. That's the first time I ever created space. I mean, that's how detailed we got. First time I ever used HIT was on a TV show, a live TV show in February of 2003 with 15 million viewers. And I was asked a question that I had to answer honestly, that I couldn't, worry about what anybody thought. And that was the first time that HIT came in. So all of these things that we articulated, and this is how I live my life. And that's why my message is so clear, because I operate by those 5 core models with the HIT principles, and that's it. So I always know what I'm saying because it's based on those 5 core models. And so if I ask you, what's your operating system? A lot of people are like, well, I believe in this and that. And these are my core principles. But that's the beauty of the book, Unleash Your Humble Alpha, is it's actually an operating system. So once you know what your operating system is, you can add apps, you can do downloads, right? You can do upgrades, but your operating system stays the same, just like in your laptop. You don't change your laptop every time you download an app, right? That Mac, you don't even think about it. Your Mac or whatever you use, that operating system isn't even in your awareness. It's just there. And so that's how we operate. That's
what they send you an update, then you gotta deal with the updates. But yeah, I get it. So if I'm hearing you right, and you said a lot of really awesome stuff, but if you stay core to your values and your operating system, then you don't ever have to worry about what to say, and you're always going to be clear,
Yeah. Well,
concise.
think about it. If we talk about HIT, which is honesty, integrity, and transparency, honesty with why you do, say, and think like you do, that's the first part. Then in the transparency is how you step into the world with that honesty, and that's your ongoing reputation, like a man of his word or whatever, right? The byproduct of that is integrity. Integrity makes you authentic. Authenticity allows you to dictate your market value. And so when you know that okay, I have to be honest with myself, and I'm talking about, why does this guy get under my skin? Or why did that girl, when she looked at me, why did I feel that way? Like, why did I feel like they were laughing at me when I don't even know who they are? Like, all these questions, right? Be honest with yourself. Why? Why did you feel that way? Well, because I feel insecure right now. I'm not in my place of power. Why am I not in my place of power? And so when you do these exercises every single day, when you have these thoughts, instead of just brushing them off and charging through, which we learned in the military, don't get me wrong, through the wall, not over it, right? And when you take those moments, and they're actually milliseconds, 20, 30, 100 times a day sometimes, then you're going to start being really honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, you don't have to worry about anything else, because that's all that matters. As soon as you're out of integrity, when you're talking to somebody, it's going to trigger something in you. You're not being honest, and then you're going to redirect.
Interesting. So when you, I would love to get an example of, first off, how you do that. Like, how are you aware of it? This, when, like you were talking about, when you're not, I don't know if you said not in alignment, but use an example of, when you're maybe not, when you notice something about yourself, like, okay, well, I'm not sure I looked at that woman, or,
Yeah.
or maybe why does that guy get under my skin? Like, what does that look like when you
Well,
have those thoughts?
I'll give you a real life example. My wife of 13 years decided to depart, right, overnight, and that threw me into a tailspin, so to say. And I had to go deep. I'd say, okay, why did you not see it, right? Or did you see it and you were ignoring it? What were the signs that you brushed over? All these things, right? And then I had to deal with, okay, it's over. I can't even change that. So why am I thinking about that? I need to think of how I'm going to deal with it now. And so when I approach my wife now, and we're separated with the kids, and she looks at me or has like a mean look on her face, or she's upset about something, I'm with myself. I'm like, okay, that puts me in a certain situation where I may react, or, like, what are you looking at? Or what's the problem? Why are you yelling at me? And I ask myself, is that why am I asking those questions? Because the answer, she wants separated. So why are you asking those questions? Because I'm looking for confirmation from her, right, that I'm wrong, because I want to prove myself wrong. So I feel like shit, excuse my French, right? So in that situation, for instance, when you have a girlfriend, I always say you can only be loved, accepted and embraced to the degree that you love, accept, and embrace yourself. So when someone tries to love you more than what you love yourself, you're going to find a way to push them away. And that'll be suggestive, right? And so I'm looking in my wife, because I feel like shit, because I couldn't provide for her. And I wasn't the husband that I thought I was. And she said, bye. Right. And so I'm trying to get confirmation from her to prove that I'm right, that I wasn't good enough. And that I realized that and say, okay, actually,
See,
Steven,
that's interesting, because wouldn't it be the opposite? Like, you'd be trying to prove that she's wrong and you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Most people do that, and they miss the entire internal dialogue. You see what I'm saying? Truth is this: my girlfriend, she doesn't fit with me. It's, I don't appreciate her, or whatever. Like, I want to, baby, I don't think this is going to work out. But no one asks themselves, why isn't it working out? Well, that's because she loves you more than you love yourself. Right. But if you don't know that, you can't work on that. You say, why don't I love myself? And what don't I like about myself? And look, there's two ways to look at people in this world. One, as a separate entity that you have to react to or sort of work with. The second one is a mirror of your energy, a mirror of your being. Right? That's the second way. So when you can see yourself in them, you can see the reflection of who you are in them. It changes the dynamic. It's called environment changing. Right? It changes the entire environment. And when you live like that, you got to be conscious, because you got to know, okay, how am I feeling right now? What's the energy I'm putting, not what I'm thinking or what I'm talking about. What's the energy that I'm putting out? I can tell my wife I love her, but inside I might be angry. She's not going to react to my words. She's going to react to that energy. So I need to get into alignment and say, I actually do love her. I'm going to let go of everything. I'm going to let go of any expectations or any agenda. I'm just going to love her soul. And I swear to you, as soon as you do that and embody that, in seconds, that frown turns to a smile for no reason whatsoever.
So how did you be able, like, when did you become able to do that? Were you always like that, or was there a point? Like something
I was very self-critical. Like when I was in high school, I hated everything about myself, like everything. I was bad at sports. I didn't have any like real friends. I had like 2 friends, and one of them was my twin brother. I had, I think 4 fathers or 5 fathers by the time I was 18 years old. So I had no self-confidence, beaten and gun in my mouth and all kinds of stupid shit. So I had zero, self-confidence. So I know what it's like to be self-critical, and I think through that process of always being self-critical, at one point it just snapped. And I was like, wait a second, I can't be this bad. And that happened, I think, when I was in the military, where I saw everyone else around me performing and I wasn't performing. And I'm like, well, I'm bigger than them, right? I'm 1 year older than most people here. Why can't I? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And dude, it changed everything. Like, I can tell you the minute it happened, the day it happened, the second it happened, where it snapped. And it was like, holy cow, I can do this. But then it was a journey, of course, of actually showing myself, improving myself, that I can actually do it. And now I don't even have a thought in my mind about something not working. It never even comes into my mind. It's just like, I hope this works. It never happens. It's just because I've worked through this all these years. But the real process has started back in 2015. I was working as a contractor for this massive corporation that I had been working for on and off for 15 years. And I was the superstar, always was, most revenue, the most people love me, all this kind of stuff. And they fired me. Like, they cut my contract. I was like, what? And they said, yeah, your PTSD is showing. Like, I was getting frustrated because I was running 3 countries and it was probably too much, or it was too much. And I guess my temper or whatever it was, of PTSD, and they fired me for PTSD, which is illegal in America, but in Europe, they don't care. They don't care. And I was like, wow, man, I'm letting an external or a thought or whatever dictate my reality. That I can't do that. You can't do that, Steven. You can't do that. And that's when I started to change, like hardcore.
Do you still deal with the PTSD?
Oh yeah. There's, PTSD comes in a million forms. I have combat PTSD and probably childhood trauma PTSD from the gun in my mouth from the stepfather. Probably that as well. But if you don't work with it and get it treated or work through it. So we work with plant medicine. I use ayahuasca and San Pedro to work with PTSD. I have a therapist as well, psychologist. I have an environment changer coach. I have like 4 coaches and 1 psychiatrist that I work with, not because I'm dependent on them, because they're a part of my research on me. So I see myself as a specimen. Okay, how can I know the most about me and turn it into the best version of me? And not just like the best version of me, but for real. Like, how do I have an impact in the world with as least effort as possible, because it's in a flow state? And I can tell you right now, with what we're working on is a perfect example, and it'll be in the book, how we created what we're creating now. And it's a multi-million-dollar. Yeah.
What's it like, Humble Alpha? You hear the title of the book, and it's like what's that? An oxymoron?
Oxymoron,
yeah. So, what's that all about?
Well, a Humble Alpha, it's about owning your presence in life, right? So you know how it is when you're good at something, and you're in a situation where you know who you are, you know why you're there, you know what you're all about and what you're capable of. You don't have to say anything. People are like, okay, that guy, that gal, he knows, she knows. Like, you've been there. You've been in a room where someone walks in behind you and you're like, who's that? You just feel it. That's someone who owns their presence. They don't need to say anything. So that alpha, it's there. It's on the inside, but the outside, humble. Just, I don't need to say anything. I'm just here. I'm present. I own my shit. I'm going to do what I got to do. And it's not an aggressive. It's like power versus force, right? Same thing, right? No force, just power. And we talk about, not in this book, but in the next book, we'll be talking a lot about no against energy. And no against energy means I have nothing against anyone or no one. And when it comes towards me, when someone comes at me with negative energy, I do some Aikido and just direct them in another direction, right? Just keep it out of the way. That's magic, dude. That's incredible, because when you have no against energy, everything's wonderful. Everything's great. And that's how we're supposed to be, man. That's how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live in that great soul space of happiness and glory. It's like being in love for the first time, right? Everything was great. Didn't matter what happened in your life, you were happy.
Amen.
That's how we're supposed to be, brother. That's how we're supposed to be.
Yeah, amen. Were you in the room this morning when Iffy was talking about? God, it was actually really good. It was impactful for me just because I'm in a place right now where I'm going through a lot of change and there's a lot of uncomfortability right now, and I'm just outside of my normal comfort zone and invested in some things and spent a lot more money and made a lot more money last year than I've, and which was good. Anyway, just a lot of uncomfortability. So
Yeah.
one of the things that came up, it was pressure creates diamonds. And
Yeah.
it just helped that, to know when you're in that uncomfortable space, usually you're growing.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Fear means two things to me: growth and learning. So look, we launched this NFT project. I have no freaking clue about NFTs, and it's turning into this like multi-million-dollar thing that I still don't understand completely.
I don't know about NFTs either, man.
Yeah, but now I don't either. But now we have probably going to be the drop of the year for 2022.
So what's an NFT?
NFT, non-fungible token.
Okay.
A non-fungible token allows you to own an asset on the blockchain. Let's say the blockchain is like a vault. Once you own it, no one can change it, adapt it, move it, steal it, nothing. That can be an asset, digital asset. That can be a real life asset, like real estate. It can be anything. It just shows that you own this. Matter of fact, for instance, if you have a course, right? Like let's say you have a course on podcasting.
I have multiple courses. Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. You can turn those courses into NFTs. Let's say you mint 50 courses. You sell those courses as NFTs. Now I own your course. I bought it for $500 or whatever you sell it for. Now the problem with courses is people pirate them, right? All the time. People give them away for free. Well, you can't do that with an NFT. So if I want to give my friend my course, they have to buy it at the same price or higher than they bought it from you. And guess what? When I sell that NFT, because of the blockchain smart ledger, you automatically get your commission for that. Your cut. And that's why NFTs are so powerful. They're doing it with books. Think about musicians. Think about the songs. All those songs have been given away for free. Now that can't happen anymore if they put it in the blockchain.
If it's but somebody could still make a copy of it, couldn't they? And it wouldn't be an exact replica, but it would be a copy.
I don't, there's ways to lock that so you can't. It's the blockchain is like a vault, like Fort Knox.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm struggling. I'm just struggling to understand that specific example. I have a course. I put on. Why I just sell my courses now to people that give me money, right? Or I guess I could take crypto if I wanted to, but why would I sell it as an NFT? That's what I'm struggling to understand.
Because the resale value, that's where the money, look, when you sell, if you look at the last launch, I forget who they were. They sold $3 million worth of NFTs in their first 12 hours. The resale of those brought in 14 million. Because of the rarity, people wanted them. So they kept buying. And what happens is if you have 20 of the same NFT, in our case, a challenge coin, those 20 coins at $400, as soon as say, for instance, I have one, I sell it to someone and they say, oh, I want that coin. And you say, okay, give me $700. Well, now every coin in that series is worth $700. So that's why you want to stake your NFT and just sit on it and drive it up. I mean, there's people that in Breakfast with Champions, what was his name? He bought an NFT for $25. It's now worth 150K. For no freaking reason. It's because it's the staking and the people keep wanting to buy it.
So, all right. So with NFT, I buy an NFT and there's a utility involved in it though, right? So there's also, because without the utilities, does it have any value? It really doesn't, right?
Well,
it's like art or something, right?
It does now because it's a gag, right? But we have launched an entire ecosystem with utility and application. So we have a real world community, which is veterans. Then we have a military collectible, which is a challenge coin, and challenge coins go back to the Roman times. It's the number one collectible in the American military. And then from that, we have the real world application, and impact is from every NFT that we sell, 5% goes into 100 veteran nonprofits and the resale, and they do resell. Right. And then from that, we have in the metaverse, which we won't even get into. We have real estate in the metaverse for veteran healing centers. We have because of our partner ECTA, which is the only blockchain platform in the world that works only exclusively with real world projects like ours that have an impact in real world. because they have all of these projects like that, like Save the Rainforest, planting trees, all these kind of things, that we have a partner that is really there with us. And they have all of these projects. So if you have a have NFT, Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment NFT, you can go to the ECTA blockchain and you can stake your token. You can invest in investment pools. There's fractional real estate investment, fractional VC, venture capital investment that you can do through your NFT. So all these applications and utilities, we're the first ones in the planet to do a complete 360-degree ecosystem. Doesn't matter what anybody says, no one's doing this. And that's why I'm on Fox News. That's why I'm on Ticker. That's why I'm on Cheddar. That's why I'm on all these different news channels, because no one's done this before, ever. And so this was an idea, David. Less than 3 months ago, I just had the idea like, I wonder if we can make challenge coins into NFTs. And like, what the hell's an NFT? I don't know, but people are making money. Let's see if we can try it. And because we're already in the veteran space for the last 4 years, very big, and we have live events, and we have a couple of Facebook groups, a paid group, and we have missions and all these kind of things. So I asked an advisor, and an advisor said, "Oh, I think I can make that work." And he talked to 2 tech companies, one of them were ECTA, and they're like, "Let's do this." And they immediately pumped in like 700K, like like that. And so now all we do is the idea, the videos, the front, the face. They do everything else. We're learning, but I still can't tell you how it works.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I want to learn more. I jump in these conversations daily about NFTs, metaverse, all that stuff. I can't understand. Like, I own a bunch of crypto. It's just like, when's it gonna hit bottom? I'm just like, man, it keeps going. Actually, I think yesterday crypto's tough. It's almost like you're day trading. It's strange. I mean, I don't plan to sell it, but I can't help looking at it.
Well, if you look at the last, 10 years or whatever it is, just leave it in. Just keep putting it in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. I mean, if you want to make short-term gains, you got to day trade. But I just let it sit and just add a couple hundred a month and just keep going and going, like for years now. Just
Good for you. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I want to learn more about your NFT project. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, should we let people know how, or is that even something that's okay?
So that's the have-nft.com is the website, have-nft.com. The have stands for Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment. The Humble Alpha, obviously, from the book that Lane and I wrote, Unleash Your Humble Alpha. And then the veteran empowerment comes through the leadership that we've had in this area in veteran entrepreneurship, veteran healing, and symposiums over the last 3 to 4 years. And we're co-creating now under one umbrella, this Have NFT, with the community to launch veterans into the digital economy, so they could earn passive income, create wealth, and all these things that have to do with.
So I know we're coming short on time. How do the veterans benefit? That's what I'm not.
Yeah. Well, first of all, through the direct application. So when I buy an NFT, it's going to go in value. It's going to increase in value. Number one. Number two, it should increase in value. Put it that way. I can't guarantee it. The second one is we have 100 veteran nonprofits that we're lining up. So for every NFT that's sold, we drop profits into all of these NFTs. We have education, we have training, we have veteran healing symposiums, healing centers that are all benefiting from what we're doing here. And we're building out the Have ecosystem so we can have more impact. We're going to have representatives in each state. And, we have missions where we help people build their business literally with hammers and nails kind of stuff. Wow. Like build. And we're not recreating anything. We're consolidating what's already out there, because 22 veterans a day kill themselves. Suicide. It's been for over 20 years, and there's 30,000 or more nonprofits out there, and it's not changing. That's because everybody's going for themselves. We're saying, come under Have. We're going to help everybody consolidate, and let's have a real impact.
That's awesome. Hey, let's talk about this quick. Becoming certain in all areas. How does somebody become real certain in themselves? I know we're shifting gears again, but
no, it's great.
To the Humble Alpha.
Certainty isn't about the outside. Like whatever happens on the outside doesn't happen. Certainty is about your ability to deal with and deploy your genius for any situation that arises. And that means going into a new business. That means going into a meeting where you're the guy that nobody knows. That means an accident on the street. That means a SWAT busting down your door. Like, do you know for certain that you can deal with that? I know I can, right? The certainty comes through owning and knowing your true identity and your purpose. Because once you know your identity, like me, I'm the powerful connector. That's my 2-word moniker. I make money from that. I make a lot of money from that. I make sure everybody who I connect makes a lot of money. And I'm just known for the guy powerful connector and problem solver. That's it. So when I know that, I walk into any situation like that's my role. That's my role. And so I can deal with anything. SWAT comes in, I'm a problem solver, right? And I have a life mantra as well. Is that's I create radiant value to elevate others to a higher frequency. Like that's just what I live by. So if I'm driving down the road, I'm pissed off or something happens, I'm like, wait a second. I flip my visor down and I have my statement there. I create radiant value to increase, to raise others, elevate others to a higher frequency. And then it makes me realize, like, what's happening right now doesn't mean anything. It's just that much in my life, that little bit in my life. This is my mission. This is why I'm here. That's just on the side. That's how you create certainty, because once you have that, your purpose amplifies your identity and gives you that presence that we were talking about before, which gives you that certainty. It's in the book. It's in the book. The book is five capitals, Kapitel in German, chapters. And each chapter has a story, a lesson, and action steps. And the action steps aren't, it's not a how-to book. It's a what-to book. So we're teaching you what to do with yourself to unleash your own version of your Humble Alpha.
Awesome. How do people get a copy of the book, Steven?
humblealpha.com/book or Amazon or Audible.
All right. Excellent. And final question for you, man, today is what, for people listening to this, I know we jumped in a few directions, but what would you say? What's the most important thing you want people to take from, if let's say somebody just popped in right here, what would you want them to walk away with?
Reacting to the outside world makes you a slave to whatever happens to you. So own who you are by going deep and finding out what your true identity, who your true identity is, not what you do, but who you are. You're a father, of course, right? You're a CEO, of course, but that's not your identity, right? Find out who your identity is. Grab the book, Unleash Your Humble Alpha. Find out who your identity is. Just do at least chapter 1, and you're going to be head and shoulders everybody else, because that creates certainty, and certainty allows you to let go of how you're going to do anything because you're certain of it.
Great, man. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And
Amen,
go back, get a copy of Steven's book right now. If you haven't listened to the whole thing, then get back to the beginning. You want to listen to it. You also want to hear about Steven's NFT project, which I want to know more about Steven as well. So appreciate you being here today. And I just want to say thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. True honor as always, man.
Yes, sir.